Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Mike. Hope you're doing great and having a wonderful day today. So before I even get into the video, I want to just make a few comments. And one of these I'm going to steal from Saris, and he made this comment in one of his last videos. Because he did book hauls kind of back to back. I'm not doing book haul videos because I'm trying to get views or likes or anything like that. One, because my channel's not monetized, so I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm doing book hauls because I buy books, and I'm still curating my home library of what I want it to be. So that's the reason for kind of book hauls back to back. So that's just one thing, and then I'll touch on the other thing later. But so I got some books here that I just recently got over the weekend, and then some a few weeks ago that I picked up. So I just want to kind of go through those and show you guys. But first, currently I'm reading, and I should have grabbed the dust jacket, but it's called Inside the Third Reich. Nope, it's not. It's called Inside Hitler's Germany. Sorry. It's a history book, and it's really actually very good. Inside Hitler's Germany, Life Under the Third Reich by Matthew Hughes and Chris Mann. And this one's got a lot of pictures to go with it, which is really neat. Let me see if I can get a couple pictures here. I don't want to show any pictures of Hitler just because personally I don't want to do that, and I don't know if YouTube will yank this down or nothing. Not that my channel's huge, and I don't have any pull or anything on YouTube, but trying to get another picture here. And I am right now 54 pages in, but it's got, so like this part here, which is, it's really sad to read. I'm just getting into the Hitler Youth part of it, and man, it's just sad. So, and I mentioned this before on one of my previous videos, that I just, thanks to Jeff, Justin, and Saracen, they've really opened my mind and my reading taste more into the nonfiction history, which all three of those guys read different stuff, and I read different stuff than them as well. But so I've just really, for like the past, I don't know, 2-3 months, really digging into history. And specifically, or mainly for me, I like World War II era of history. More focused than that, Germany, the history of Germany and Nazi Germany and Hitler. To me, it's just very fascinating how one man was able to do what he did. It didn't happen overnight. There was a process. In this book here, it's doing a really good job explaining the steps. It kind of was, I don't know if you believe in it or whatever, but it was mentioned in the book like fate. It all just kind of happened the way it happened. And if one piece would have happened differently, Hitler would have never taken over. It just kind of, all the pieces perfectly fell together, which is just crazy to me. But anyways, so I've got quite a bit of different variety here of books. So the first one, and there's Gracie, one of our cats here. I'm writing this down so I don't forget. Andrew over at You Could Be Reading More. This is for you, buddy. I found Georgette Heyer, Arabella. This is one that he actually recommended to me because he just talks and talks and talks about Georgette Heyer. He loves all of her books. Well, I mean, some of them he said they're not great, but still worth the read. But I think it's called Bellevue. I'm not sure. I'm still waiting to get that in the mail of Georgette Heyer, but I found this one yesterday. This was part of most of this book haul that I found. So Georgette Heyer, Arabella. This is a romance, which I'm new to. I haven't read a lot of romance, but it's short. you know, it's not too long. So I'm excited to get into that. All right, the next one, Felix. And all of these guys and people that I mentioned, I'll link all their channels in the description. But Felix, he opened up to me kind of a Gunter Grass. He's a German author. So I found 2 of his, Dog Years. And both of these books Felix has read and shown on his channel recently. And The Flounder. I think this one might be a little bit dry of a read, and Felix mentioned that too, but I just thought that because they're by the same publisher, they kind of go together, so that's nice to add to my growing library. Oh, speaking of that, and I meant to mention this in the beginning, I went this morning to it was my local, it's an hour away, but it's my local bookstore. I took like 30 some books in there, so I got rid of a bunch because they do a buy for cash or trade it in for store credit. Store credit, you know, it's always better. You're going to get more. So I took a lot of books this morning over there. Just stuff that I've had for a long time and I'm not going to read. And I'm not stressing about getting rid of them. So, all right. The next section is poetry. I've mentioned this 100 times. One of my favorite poets is Walt Whitman. So I found two books of Walt Whitman. That's actually him. Scruffy looking, looks like a homeless guy. But it's called Listen America, A Life of Walt Whitman. Adrian Stottenberg and Laura Nelson Baker. It's a biography of his, so that I have 2 biographies now of his. I've read the other one, haven't read that one. This is just another copy of Leaves of Grass. And some of these still have the prices on because this bookstore, the paper, whatever they use, it's tearing off the front of the book. So I don't even care. I just left it on. But that's just another copy of Leaves of Grass. I've got like 4 or 5 different editions of Leaves of Grass. It's just my favorite book of poetry, and I wanted to get it. So the next one I have is 1,000 Quotable Poems by Thomas Curtis Clark and Esther A. Gillespie. I personally prefer poetry anthologies versus single works of poetry overall, generally. I mean, I do like certain, just because I mean, I have on my shelf certain just general books of poets or selected poems, things like that. But I don't know, I just kind of like the anthology style more. So the next one I have, and this I've seen on Felix's channel, and I also want to say it was on Lewis's channel. I think that he mentioned this before, but they're plays. Now, I didn't grow up around literature, and I'm not trying to give you my sad sob story of my life, you know, but I didn't grow up around literature at all. Nothing. Period. Zero. Right? No encouragement to read or stuff like that. So everything that I found myself as I become an adult. And this is just the way I think. For me, I never thought I was smart enough, or I don't know, you know, educated enough or classy. I don't know what the word is, but, you know, for plays and poetry, that to me, it was always kind of like, oh man, that's for the elite, you know, like I could never understand that kind of stuff. But I've been dipping my toes into plays here more recently. I'm just trying to find some and read them, you know. So I found 4 books of plays here. The first 3 are individual plays. This is called Earth and Sky, a poetic thriller for the stage by Douglas Post. And if you know anything about plays or you've read them, leave suggestions, tips, tricks, whatever in the comments, because I know nothing about plays. I mean, I know about plays, but I've never read a play, so I'm going to start with these 4 here. Next one is called The Trial of Goldilocks, a fairy tale fantasy by Joseph Robinette. I mean, I've done a little bit of research, you know, and kind of had to get into it and stuff like that. But I'm trying to broaden my reading horizons a little bit more. The next one is called A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. And then the last one is actually, it's 6 Great Modern Plays is the name of it. Anton Chekhov, Henrik Ibsen, Sean O'Casey, George Bernard Shaw, Arthur Miller, and Tennessee Williams. So plays from each of those people. And I like the look of this book. It's old. I mean, I can't remember. Let me look at the year real quick here. 1956. I mean, look, it's still got the 75 cents. You know, that it was 75 cents then, but so that's that. That's all my plays there. And then switching over to my fantasy folklore, not fantasy, what's it called? Fairy tale folklore, not fantasy, but fairy tale folklore. I found this today when I was at the bookstore exchanging. Vampire, The Complete Guide to the World of the Undead by Manuela Dunn Maschetti. Probably pronounced that wrong, but I just thought that was really, really cool. And I've shown all of my fairy tale folklore books before, so I won't go through all that. And this has got pictures all throughout. It's just really neat. Kind of gives you the history and throughout the years. There was one picture in here that I wanted to show. Can't show some of these because showing a little bit of extra skin, and you know, I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube, but hang on, let me find it. I think it's farther to the back. Sorry, I'm trying here. Oh, here's one. This is like Home of the Blood Drinker. So that's kind of neat. I'm excited about that one. Next one I have, and I've already got a book kind of like this, but I don't know, I like this one. So it's called Myths of the Greek and Romans, a fascinating study of the world's great myths and their impact on the creative arts through the ages by Michael Grant. Here, and it's got 64 pages of illustrations, which I just love books that have illustrations, you know. Just kind of gives some life a little bit to the book, in my opinion. But let me find some other stuff here. So this is like Dionysius on that coin up here. And then the last one on that is Ancient Myth and Modern Poetry. And when I seen this, I didn't even know what it was, and I grabbed it off the bookshelf immediately because I was like, well, that's super interesting to me. Ancient Myth in Modern Poetry by Lillian Fetter. Sorry for the glare. This has got that plastic cover on it, but see if I can get it. Maybe there. All right, 2 more stacks here. Next one, this would be my classics. That's gonna go on my classic shelves. So I just finished in December Moby Dick, and I've known that Herman Melville wrote a few other things, but I haven't read them. But I found this one. It's called Selected Tales and Poems by Herman Melville, edited by Richard Chase. Did not know that Herman Melville wrote tales and poems, so that was really neat to find. And I found it in this super old edition. I mean, see at the top is $1.25. And I'm a sucker for old books, not all old books, but 1948, that one. Next one I've got, and I've seen this a few times recently in bookstores. I never picked it up, but I went ahead and did it this time. Jack London, The Sea Wolf, and Selected Stories. this one is 2-in-1, The Call of the Wild and White Fang by Jack London. I believe I already have a copy of White Fang, a little thin book, but I'm going to replace it with this because this is 2-in-1. Then I've got Captain Courageous by Rudyard Kipling, and if you're from America, I don't know, maybe they have Walmart, other places, but this is not a sticker. This is actually printed on the book. It's an old Walmart 2 for $1. Wouldn't that be awesome if Walmart still did 2 for $1? Try to see what year this is here. And it might not even say. I don't think this one actually does. No, it doesn't, but that's pretty neat. W. Somerset Maugham, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's Of Human Bondage. This is a Penguins edition. And then Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Burgess, I believe is how you pronounce that. And then I've got some F. Scott Fitzgerald, but so with talking to my friend over at Eternal Reading, he's really encouraged me to try short stories. And I have 2 collections of short stories. I've just never really got into them. I did read one last year, a collection of short stories by, don't even remember now, but so this is the short stories of F. Scott Fitzgerald. And there is F. Scott Fitzgerald with that old hairstyle. But he's got a good suit on. It looks good. So thank you, Eternal, for that. I'm excited to get to that one. And then my last little stack here. I know this video is running long. I don't usually make long videos. So again, falling back into my World War II era that I really am fascinated with. I picked this up today too. This is a memoir. Defying Hitler by Sebastian Haffner. And then the next one, it's called Inside the Third Reich. It's Memoirs by Albert Speer, which in reading this one, Inside Hitler's Germany, last night, I just came across this guy's name. And he was, I don't remember exactly what he was, but he was over something that Hitler, you know, put him in position, and he was one of the ones that was, what's it called? On trial at Nuremberg. But so that's going to be really good. And then this one goes with, I have another one on, it's called Nuremberg, but this one's Tyranny on Trial, The Evidence at Nuremberg by Whitney Harris. So this is going to be a really good companion to my Nuremberg, the other book I have. Well, I think I showed this before, but I can't remember because I had it in paperback and then I found it in hardback, and of course I had to get it in hardback. But it's The Nightmare Years. Yeah, I've shown this before, so I'm sorry, but William Shire. 2 more here. I'm going to try to cover up the big giant swastika on the front of this book, but An Illustrated History of the Gestapo by Rupert Butler. And again, I don't know if I can show that symbol, whatever, I don't care. But and then last one, A Pictorial History of the World War II Years. This isn't necessarily German focused, but it's got Hitler and Stalin and Roosevelt and Churchill. I almost blanked out on that, Churchill. So and this one's got a lot of pictures in it too. But so that's my going down, down the rabbit trail with my history. So thank you, Jeff, Justin, Saracen, Jeff, Justin, and Saracen. Thank you guys for lighting that fire. I told my wife that is because of a few booktubers I follow. It's their fault why I have more books. And she said, well, tell them they're on my list now. So kidding, of course, but thank you guys for opening up my horizon a little bit. And not just you three. I mean, the other people that I've mentioned on here too, Felix, James, Lewis, Eternal, Andrew, and many others that I just can't remember all, because I'm subscribed to quite a few booktubers. So, but I will quit rambling. This video's long, but thank you guys for watching, and I would really highly recommend you check out all the videos from these other guys that I'm going to put in the description. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.